Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another webinar, the Bits and Bytes, as we continue our constant webinar series here throughout the year. These first 6 months focused all around the World Cup. So today, it really is the Dialpad and Abitronix presenting that VIP stadium experience. Today with us, we have Dialpad leading in agentic AI in the contact center space. And with me, I have Connor Rice, our channel manager, as well as Brian Gray, our senior sales engineer. And today we're going to be presenting what Dialpad is stepping into as the development and leader of agentic AI. So there's a lot of information right now that's been be floating around the industry as far as these two big words, agentic AI. But today we're going to dive a little deeper down into it. And Connor, thank you, and Brian, thank you so much for joining us today at this series of webinars. It's critical that we learn a lot more about what is happening, how the industry is proceeding into that transition, right? How agentic AI truly is changing everything in the predictive, the success of and the personalization of scalability. So with that, I am going to pass it over to Connor Rice again with Dialpad, our channel manager. And thank you again, once again, Connor, for joining us in our series of bits and bytes. So Connor, it's all yours. Thank you.
Thanks, Hugo. Hi, everyone, and welcome. I am Connor Rice. I am our partner account manager here at Dialpad. We're so excited to be a sponsor at the upcoming Abitronix Technology Expo on March 3rd at Keene University. I'm here with the Abitronix team, Hugo, Jose, and Matt, as well as my sales engineer, Brian Gray, from the Dialpad side. As Hugo mentioned, today we're going to be giving you a literal front row seat to what we'll be showcasing and discussing at the event. We aren't just talking about basic automation. We're talking about the shift to agentic CX. So AI that doesn't just chat, but actually solves problems across every channel your customers use. We're going to dive into how you can use data-driven playbooks to score before a customer even asks, and how to keep that personalized touch even as your business scales. So this gives your clients that VIP experience. So consider this a warm-up lap for March 3rd. Don't forget to register as spots are filling up fast. And let's jump in. Brian, I'll pass it over to you to get started.
Thank you, Connor.
Good thing. Appreciate that, Connor. All right. So we're going to start with kind of the, what your customer experience, right? And then work our way in towards the agent experience and how those agents will support the customers. Now, what I've done is I built an agentic agent that is focused on World Cup, right? I've fed it information about the World Cup history, about the 2026 World Cup, and I've also linked it to a lead generation tool so that we can get information from customers about, what they would potentially want to follow, or maybe there's information that we can send out as that as like tickets become available or a VIP experience becomes available. So I've got Clint Dempsey here that's here to help me out. It's asking me. It's fully embedded into the footy or the soccer terminology, as it were, right? And we can start to give it some information. So and so as the agent starts to compile the information that it wants to gather, right? It's tasked with getting name, email, phone number, that kind of thing. We'll have it prompt and get that data and then log that data. Please. And we'll give it a phone number. Right?
I love this.
Oop. Yep, an own goal. That's awesome. The great thing is that you don't even need to really, go through. Okay. Clint's being really strict right today. All right, so now we're asking it to confirm all of the contact information. Oh, being really strict today. I did add the prompts that it would need to be. And as we see, it's already logged that information. Right. So, just being able to have that experience kind of come through, be able to, deflect some of that initial lead generation process, right? The handoff to the agent then becomes more elegant. The agentic platform will share this information and then be able to kind of schedule things within another platform, calendar events, follow-up dates, things of that nature, right? So you'll leverage that experience. If we need to go to an agent, we can go to an agent. Now, the same exact code that we use for building this chat experience is the same thing that you'll use for the voice experience. And this is really kind of what starts to set things apart here. Audio coming across at all? No.
Is it
No.
loud and clear? Your audio sounds pitch perfect. How can I assist you today?
I had some questions real quick about the World Cup.
Of course. Go ahead and ask your questions about the World Cup, and I'll do my best to help.
Okay. Who won the 1994 World Cup?
In 1994, Brazil won the World Cup, taking home their fourth title after beating Italy on penalties. A real nail-biter of a final.
Who was the leading scorer for Brazil that year?
That would be Romario, who scored 5 goals and was one of the stars of the tournament for Brazil in 1994.
Cool. Well, I'm following Brazil this year at the World Cup. Do you have any ticket packages available yet?
We will have VIP ticket packages for fans like you. Would you like to opt in and share your details so we can keep you posted?
Sure.
Great. Let me get your consent first. We'll collect your name, email, and phone number for ticket package updates. Do you agree to that?
I do.
Thanks for confirming. Let's start with your name. What should I put down?
Jordan Pickford.
Thanks, Jordan Pickford. Now, could you share your email address?
Jordan@gmail.com.
Got it. And finally, what's the best phone number to reach you?
Let's go with 713-555-8000.
Thanks for that. Just to confirm, here's what I have. Name, Jordan Pickford. Email, jordan.gmail.com. Phone, 713-555-8000.
Yep, that's correct.
Perfect. I'll go ahead and log your details for the ticket package update. Let me get that set up right now. You're all set, Jordan. We've saved your details for Brazil ticket package update. Anything else you'd like to know about the World Cup?
No, I tell you what, though, I would like to talk to an agent. Would you mind transferring me into to an agent now?
I'm transferring you to an operator now.
So now we're providing context around this particular conversation. So I accept that call. So that call gets connected.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there we go. So the call is now connected. We're in the conversation. We have information about the reason why we had that call transfer in from the agentic environment. We have their contact information. We know that their inquiry was around a ticket inquiry, right? So that content from the agentic experience then comes across, right? And now it turns to how do we help this agent then through the conversation that they're about to have, right? Not everyone's going to be an expert in World Cup history or knowledge, right? So we'll have potentially an agent that could sit within the Dialpad experience here. So as somebody asks about like different topics, they can ping that particular agentic experience within the application. We'll use that same question, right? Nope. Maybe what's there. pivot over to playbook real quick. In the playbook experience, right, we talked about the fact that somebody would navigate a sales conversation in a couple of different ways. We'll have this playbook here to be able to capture those details along the way during the call to then know what a great conversation looks like, right? So, are they buying for themselves? What is the required product set? So the need, right? Are they going to buy per match, or are they going to buy, in terms of like an entire package? What's their budget? Are they, all of those kind of questions, right, could be crafted into one of these playbooks. So this is a classic playbook experience that Connor mentioned in terms of keeping that conversation on point, right? We'll have transcription capabilities, obviously. That's kind of powered through our platform. So we know what good looks like in terms of call review process, being able to understand how a call went. And then as different topics come up, we'll be able to provide coaching for those different topics. So maybe somebody asks about the venues, or they ask to set up a consultation around the World Cup. We'll be able to provide that content, right, and show a talk track. When we get to the end of a call, we'll have information about that particular VIP experience here, and we'll be able to share information coming out of it. So I could grab my summary, I could grab my action items, I could copy them, send them to the customer, right? I already know their email address because the agentic platform pulled that for me. So I could share this recap and be able to send information about that phone conversation, right? To have follow up. I could share this with my supervisor. How do I answer a question about previous years, right? So we'll kind of run through that process of being able to capture information and leverage the AI data that's pulled out of that conversation. Let's just check something real quick. I'm going to show off real fast. I signed this AI assistant just a little while ago to my queue, so it may be a little stubborn today.
It's amazing where this is at now, in this stage of the game in the CX space. It's amazing what it could do.
It is. It's starting to
Oh
really
yeah,
push
it's
boundaries in terms of how things are set up,
completely, yeah.
and we always have the option of being able to, you know, have that call come across, be able to have things set up. Let's just take a look here. There we go. There's our friend now. So basically what we want to do is we want to be able to embed that same kind of assistant capability now from the perspective of the agent as well. So, I would have to open up a browser, go to the right search, find a wiki page, do those different things in order to answer these questions. Now we get to embed this information into the application that the agent actually works in. So think about that. Somebody brings up, we'll stick with our example. Right. Now I get to be an expert, right? I know nothing about the sport, but I get to be an expert because now I've got this little AI assistant that's going to be able to go pull data, be able to say that, oh yeah, it was a crazy match at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. Well, you should have been there. It was fantastic. It was a lot of fun, right? So you get to have that kind of conversational knowledge that lets me search for something, find information, right? And then we can start to embed some of those capabilities from an agent-facing perspective, so that the AI can provide data. And so those live coaching situations, when we start talking about venues, or they want to set up an additional consultation for ticketing, that kind of thing, and we can embed that data into the view of the agent immediately, right? They get to see policy updates, they get to see content, they get to take those little factoids that are there that your management team wants to make sure they focus on. We can start to embed this data, and then the cool part is I can click on one of these links, and instead of opening a browser, instead of saying my system's slow or doing whatever, it just takes me straight to the content that I need,
Mhm.
right?
It's
So this
amazing.
is
Yeah.
this is really where we're heading in terms of like, let's make the conversation leading into that agent experience. We'll gather information with agentic, right? The end goal of the agentic experience may not be to fully deflect, it may be to gather data and then hand that off to someone that's a specialist, right? So we're upskilling our agents. They're able to focus on things that aren't as redundant. And now we're making every conversation more powerful. So you use that time instead of asking what their name is, what's their favorite team.
Yeah.
You already know that going into the conversation, and the agent gets to be an expert right away.
It's a huge value add in the agent connecting truly with the actual person, the caller, someone who's passionate about whatever it is. In this case, the game of soccer and the World Cup. Uh, and at the end of the day, Brian, we often speak about this. It all comes down to the customer experience.
Mhm.
Customer experience is directly related to increasing revenue. This is
Yep.
wonderful.
Yep. And we can grab like information out of that knowledge base. There you go. So on behalf of that contact center, I get to send a text message to my potential customer, right? How does that, how does that impact being able to have that multi-mode of communication within the environment, right? You could escalate from a chat session to a voice session to agentic to the agent to then provide that information back. So we definitely, want to make sure that we're reaching customers where they want to be reached. Right? Do they want to use SMS? Do they want to use something else? Right? So we can have that experience really tailored to the customer and be able to run through. As you
That's
can see,
great.
I've had
Yeah.
some good fun
Oh yeah. Complete.
setting this up. It's always very cool. But
Yeah.
look, let's be real about one thing, right? I am not I do not have a degree in AI or any kind of you know agentic experience, right? This is a new world for a lot of people. The simple fact that I was able to build this within a couple of maybe it was about an hour and a half or so, to be able to build this with natural language, and our tool actually able to refine that natural language, be able to refer to a skill that's already pre-built for you. So things like Salesforce, a spreadsheet, an email confirmation, text message confirmation. Those skills are already available to you. So you can build these kind of bespoke experiences for each different type of conversation and then refine them. So, from the time that I stood this up, I've added some additional things like capturing that who their favorite team was, right? Being able to have that knowledge of like what team they're going to follow in this space, and be able to add those line items to now my roster of potential contacts and my lead generation platform.
Fantastic. Hmm.
Finally, we'll go ahead and wrap up this particular call here. My playbook is, I've got my need done, but maybe we're gonna confirm that they're buying within the next 2 months because that's when they know when they're going to travel, and yes, they would be able to make the decisions about it, right? So you use this playbook to be able to finish up the call. Then, as the call ends, we'll have things like disposition, your first line of defense in terms of analytics. We'll be able to capture those things in the playbook. We complete this call out. The agent has a little bit of wrap up time. Maybe they're going to make some additional notes about this particular customer's desired experience or which cities they'd want to travel to, right? But they'll have this time to be able to wrap up and finish up their calls. And then we'll be able to see the analytics for all of these different types of conversations within Dialpad's backend. So whether it's an agentic experience or a phone experience, right, we'll be able to see all of the data that comes across, understand how things are functioning, our call volumes, the types of conversations we're having, and then as you go into more detailed information, we'll present better context around each agent experience, right? So you'll have tons of data coming out of Dialpad in terms of an AI agent providing content back and forth, and we'll be able to see even those agentic experiences with the transcript, with AI identified elements, things of that nature.
Hey,
Very cool
Brian,
stuff.
quick, very, very cool. Brian, just for our listeners and people watching this webinar, take us through a little bit about how accessible is this to the average person looking to build out a contact center, a call center? You know,
Mhm.
because now you're talking the latest and greatest in technologies, agentic CX. How
Mhm.
easy is this? Is this a all-in-one package? Is this something that we layer on top of the actual introductory package for a call center within Dialpad? How does this work? How can anyone that is looking to take advantage of this technology layer this on their call center?
Yeah, so it is worth pointing out, right? We go and we take a look at the admin space within Dialpad. The content that you see here is going to be based on your roles and permissions. Now, everyone will have access to their own settings, and they'll be able to set up their call routing rules. Maybe they're, instead of voicemail, they'll point it at a contact center that has that agentic experience. But we actually have built the ability to create and manage your agents within the same admin space, right? This isn't a completely separated tool. It's not off on its own, and you're not just transferring calls into your human contact center. You're front ending an existing dial pad environment with an agentic experience, right? So here's our World Cup agent. And so we actually build out a skill. And like the idea here is that you're going to come in, you're going to have some basic settings. Those basic settings kind of set the foundation for what you're going to use this agentic experience for. And then we give it a skill. And that skill then is what we're talking about. The natural language of being able to say, this is how it's going to work, right? How do I want you to address the user? How do I want how do I want to what tools and integrations am I going to use? What does a successful call look like? And then we'll have guardrails, right? So what the agent should and should not do will live here, right? We'll have sources for information. So whether that is like maybe a downloaded file, or I am doing a web crawl of content related to the topic. And then we'll also have just a full history and analytics related to the each of those agent interactions. So it is very much an environment that stays within Dialpad's normal UI. It is a very easy thing to set up. And then we'll just either point this. So like when we talk about configuring a channel, in the scenario of a web chat, I'll configure that channel to one of my digital channels to escalate in. So if I had asked for an agent within my chat experience, it would go to my contact center called BFlight Chat. We can set our appearance, and we can have different rules for deploying. So how do I embed it? Maybe I want to put this QR code on an ad. And for our contact center voice environments, we just put the target for that voice environment as the actual agentic experience.
Mhm.
So I've already had a contact center set up for this, specific type of conversation, and all I'm doing is selecting which agent I want to point it to.
Very cool.
I wish I could say that it was incredibly hard work and that it was, an amazing feat that I pulled off with this agentic experience. But it really is something that can be done with no code, or very low code, where we'll give you examples, and then our AI actually helps you correct and refine that experience. So it really is about like making a subtle change, refining
Yeah.
it, running it through, and it can be very iterative. You can even tell it like what to do and what not to do. It's very cool. It's been a lot of fun to build this for this example, and I'll be using it all the way through the summer for sure
Wonderful.
in my demos. So I appreciate the excuse to be able to build out my friend here, and I'll be using it to keep up with matches and everything else. So I'll just have this chat open and ask it, who won yesterday when I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. Wish I knew who was going to win the World Cup, but
No
predicted.
doubt. No doubt.
But it's crazy how much this technology has where we're at today, so far beyond that standard chatbot, that we're all accustomed to using, right? Which at one point, not long ago, was the latest and greatest in features. So, Brian, I just want to thank you. This has been a good experience here to learn a little bit more and talk about the Agentic CX that Dialpad has, and truly giving us that VIP stadium experience. Wonderful. Anything else, Brian, that maybe our listeners and people viewing this webinar can take home? Um,
Yeah, yeah. This is kind of just the beginning, and the more, if you think about what we are intending to do with this, right, in terms of the expansion and the capabilities, we have a number of native integrations already built, right, that you can just enable and point to. So, coming out of the gates right away, we can have these interactions logged within a CRM, have
yeah,
tasks set up coming out of them. So it is very much a platform that will allow you to really start to, think about how you want those common tasks that the agentic environment can do. But you have to give it goals, and when you give it goals, it gets even better, right? It's no longer just using this great technology to be an enhanced Google search. It is getting things done for you, and that's really where we're focused right now. But to do so in a way that is, natural language, low code, no code kind of scenarios.
that's huge, Brian. Thanks actually for adding that. Years ago, this was all something that had to be built out.
Hmm.
Now it's just plug and play. This
Yeah,
is
there's no longer
huge.
that gatekeeping. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. No,
Hmm.
Brian, thank you so much. And if there are no any questions, further questions, I definitely want to be respectful of everyone's time. So I want to thank you, Brian. I want to thank you, Connor, for being a part of this wonderful experience here, and bringing us up to speed really where the Agentic CX technology is out for Dialpad. So thanks again, Connor. I don't know if you want to add a few more words. And before passing it over to you, Connor, I want to just recap on what Connor started by saying. Please register for the Abitronix Technology Expo. It's going to be hosted right here in Union, New Jersey at Kane University STEM Building. Just go to abitronix.com, register. There's no cost. So, Connor, with that, thank you again. Please, anything
No,
else you might want to add?
yeah, just to echo that, we'd love to see everyone at the expo. After watching, if there's any questions or if you want to discuss this in more detail, I'm happy to connect with you in person there, share more information, and we can even set up time to discuss this in more detail. So thank you again for everyone's time. Look
Awesome.
forward to seeing you at the expo, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Connor.
No, thank
And
you.
stay tuned for
Having
our
us.
next series of Bits and Bytes webinars, and we'll be posting everything on our event page at abitronix.com. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.